Baishatun Mastu Pilgrimage devotees sign up for Tzu Chi stem cell registry blood drive. Tzu Chi gave hope to children by establishing a school in Dominican Republic 21 years ago. Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Sue. Thank you for joining us. Recently, Tzu Chi volunteers promoted stem cell donations near the Shihu Township Farmers Association in Changhua. By noon that day, the Baishatun Mastu Pilgrimage took a break next to the building. 8 devotees who participated in the Matsu Pilgrimage seized the chance to sign up for Tzu Chi stem cell registry blood drive.
When the Baishatun Mastu came to Changhua on their return journey, devotees could not wait to receive blessings from Matsu. When Tzu Chi volunteers promoted their stem cell donation near the Shihu Township Farmers Association, Baishatun Mastu unexpectedly occupied the open space next to this building for a break. This rare opportunity attracted many devotees to participate in Tzu Chi's blood test. Miss Chen from Dajia Taichung believed this opportunity was arranged by Matsu because she had long wanted to take part in the blood test.
It is both a coincidence and a good cause. I encountered you when I was participating in the pilgrimage activity. Once you're determined to save people's lives, you should not hesitate to do so. Just do the right thing.
Another kind-hearted person is Mr. Huang from Fongyuan. After listening to volunteers' introduction, he immediately filled out the form without any hesitation.
I followed the Matsu Procession, and I did not expect to have this good opportunity.
During the 20-minute stay, there were 8 devotees signing up for Tzu Chi stem cells registry.
Because of the guidance of the Baishatun Mastu, these devotees follow Matsu's footsteps to come to our activity site and have a blood test. They're full of love and compassion, so I believe they'll bring hope to leukemia patients.
This stem cell donation drive has proved that love can transcend different religions.
For more than 10 years, Tzu Chi volunteers in Changhua have provided services during the annual Dajia Matsu Procession. This year, TIMA members joined them for the first time. In addition, Tzu Shaos promoted environmental protection.
Devotees have followed Matsu for several days on this pilgrimage, causing them to feel sore all over. Some children had blisters on their shoulders due to carrying heavy items. The medical professionals quickly came help them. TIMA Changhua came for the first time to the Dajia Matsu Procession to serve the participants.
After walking for so many days, they may have blisters or feel pain, so we can provide them with needed medical services.
A group of Tzu Shaos invited residents along the way to lessen the use of plastic bags. Volunteers provided stainless steel utensils for participants to use, and Tzu Shaos helped wash them. Both TIMA members and students of a Tzu Shao class have learned a lot during this event.
Zimbabwe Tzu Chi disaster relief team has carried out the second aid distribution at the Kopa in Chimanimani. On the distribution day, it rained and the volunteers invited 30 local residents to help prepare for the distribution. Fortunately, the aid distribution went smoothly. On the rainy morning, Zimbabwe Tzu Chi disaster relief team's distribution in Kopa is carried out as scheduled. Early in the morning, local volunteers directed distribution guidelines at Zinger Primary School.
Although we are the givers, we must express our respect. Chanting Amitabha is a way to wish them well.
Since the distribution site is outdoor, to keep the blankets dry, the volunteers have to lay the paper boxes on the ground. They also work in relays to bring the blankets inside the classroom outdoor. After completing the preparation, the volunteers started the distribution. Under the guidance of the volunteers, the affected residents received blankets, water purification solution, and everyone's best wishes.
My house was destroyed by the cyclone. I've walked for 4 hours to reach the distribution site.
Despite a language barrier, the volunteers and affected residents communicate with smiles. Although their feet are wet with mud, the affected residents are still filled with joy.
I've walked for 10 kilometers from my house, but it is worth the effort. Now that I have received the blankets, I can cover myself while sleeping. I'll not be afraid of the cold weather.
Before this distribution today, we hadn't received any assistance. I have received your blankets and second-hand clothing. Although I cannot wear the clothing, I still appreciate you guys.
In Malawi, a city disaster relief team visited a disaster site, Kalima. Since the river water rose, nearly 2,000 residents were forced to take shelter at a nearby elementary school. Although most residents have returned to their homes, there are still some impoverished residents who ran out of food and had to stay at the school. Therefore, city volunteers deliver corn flour to them. Kalima community is about half a kilometer away from Shire River. Heavy rains led the river to rise and the village was flooded. Even brick houses could not withstand the floods. As a result, 395 households, or nearly 2,000 people, sought shelter at a nearby elementary school.
It's near the river and there's a hill nearby. Therefore, when the heavy rains came, the water rushed down and the river water rose.
After the water receded more than a month later, the high water marks can still be seen in the village. Villagers are staying in tents and they plan to rebuild their houses. Nevertheless, 32 impoverished families still stay at the elementary school as they desperately need food.
We learned from the tribal chief that they lack food. It has been 2 weeks since the last time an NGO gave out food. They finished the food.
Upon learning of the situation, volunteers quickly deliver 25 kilograms of corn flour they've just purchased from the market.
We've run out of food. Thank you for delivering corn flour. We're really happy. Thank you.
City volunteers are trying their best to understand the needs of affected residents. After assessing the situation, they'll provide more assistance. Malawi is still struggling to recover from the effects of Cyclone Idai. South African city volunteers rushed to provide aid to disaster areas. One local volunteer, Joanna, helped with translation and assisted volunteers to get to disaster areas.
The happiest member amongst this group of disaster survivors is Joanna, who is also skilled at communicating.
Their biggest loss is their houses.
Okay, the houses. The houses. Collapsed. We managed.
Tzu Chi's disaster relief team in Malawi has been reliant upon Joanna for much of this coordination work.
Not feeling good since I'm a Malawian, so those people need help. Okay, though our government is not helping much.
To help Tzu Chi deliver disaster aid, Joanna takes 4 different buses each day, crossing into different districts. She does initial interviews before Tzu Chi volunteers arrive. Though her son is sick and in the hospital, disaster survivors are her priority.
I felt good, I'm happy because Tzu Chi is helping the people now. Tzu Chi is taking good care and is showing the people good love. So on that, I'm very happy.
This driver, Matenda, went from Chingombe to the disaster area. He got a first-hand look at the disaster and has lowered his daily fee to help volunteers. He also assists in procuring goods to give to survivors.
They are less than 150. Though the things which are being given there, they are not so enough. But the matter people have been visited is something special. They feel good. They know that there are others who want to help us when the problem will come.
Traveling together and working with one heart deepens this relationship between locals and Tzu Chi volunteers to provide help to hard-to-reach areas in need.
21 years ago, Dominican Republic was devastated by Hurricane George. U.S. Tzu Chi volunteers went to provide disaster relief. In addition, Tzu Chi volunteers established the Tzu Chi La Romana school near a landfill. They provide impoverished children the chance to improve their lives.
If Tzu Chi did not come 20 years ago, this community would be worse off. We would have no chance of being educated.
19 years ago, Tzu Chi volunteers and local children painted this wall together. And now, many years later, within these walls, children have unlimited expectations and hope for the future.
This is an AI robotic course. Students are grouped into teams of 4 and using computers from Taiwan.
We are assembling an airplane. I have to install the sensors so the plane can fly.
What do we want to do with this plane? Fly around the world.
This is the 2nd grade Class B, which is studying language. They're learning to write, and on the wall there are a few Jingsa aphorisms, which prove to be good educational material.
Con votos fuertes viene la fuerza. Buenas intenciones.
¿Qué son buenas intenciones?
Portarse bien y no hacer desorden.
Tiene que respetar, o sea, el derecho de los demás.
At school, teachers will teach children to respect others and to have values, and these ideas they bring home and share with their family. Parents will even come to thank us because we're educating their children this way.
This is the first school in the community and is also a starting point for major change. 21 years ago, Hurricane George led U.S. Tzu Chi volunteers to come and assist with disaster relief. Once there, they encountered many children living near landfills with no IDs and no future.
No matter if it's adults or children, they all had very little to wear. Even some of the older children had nothing to wear, they just ran around. There were so many of these children and were worried about what they would do in the future.
These trees are a testament to the constant company of Tzu Chi volunteers. Now these saplings planted in front of the 6 classrooms have turned into lush trees. The community also has certain vitality.
We can say that this community has experienced an 80 to 90% change. We had a slogan, poverty is not wrong, but being dirty is not right.
Getting rid of the landfill mindset and establishing a concept of being clean and tidy. In order to carry teachers to class, a special bus route was established.
With this bus route, we began to provide local residents and teachers the chance to go to work, and this helps spur growth of the community.
From a community of just 1,000 people to now more than 10,000, this influx of people has also led the number of public schools to 3. Now children have many more opportunities ahead of them, rather than just scavenging amongst the landfill.
Some graduates are psychologists and some people are still studying medicine. I personally feel very happy and proud and satisfied. When I first started my job at the school, I was called the principal of the garbage dump by others.
¿Qué tú quieres ser en el futuro? Una pediatra, ingeniera civil, artista. Yo quiero ser pelotero.
This group of students now have pride in themselves and will be a force for change in the community.
In June 2016, a tornado devastated Funing County, Jiangsu. Therefore, the Tzu Chi Foundation has built a DaAi village in Kongdang village. Recently, Kong Chui Chang, the descendant of Confucius, visited the DaAi village.
A warm day in April is also a good day for sweeping the ancestors' tomb. Kong Chui Chang, the 79th generation descendant of Confucius, visits Kongdang village. The Kong kinsmen plant the apricot trees and the Chinese parasol trees, both of which were Confucius' favorite trees. He also expressed his gratitude to Tzu Chi's help to his kinsmen.
Confucianism emphasizes filial piety and neighborliness. If we can also include Tzu Chi's great love spirit, we'll be able to create a model that expresses both Confucianism and Tzu Chi culture with respect to farming, economy, and culture.
The head of our clan came to my home, and also Deputy CEO Lin of Tzu Chi also came to my home. This is incredible, and we are delighted. My family emphasizes manner, filial piety, loyalty, benevolence, and virtue.
The villager recalls the tornado disaster 3 years ago. It destroyed many people's homes. Tzu Chi helped rebuild their homes. During this period, Tzu Chi volunteers were their support.
In the past 3 years, we can see Tzu Chi volunteers every week. I also want to thank Tzu Chi volunteers for raising the Kongdang villagers' awareness on environmental protection and for dedicating themselves to set the solid foundation for the culture of this town.
We wanted to revitalize the village. It's a good place for living because it is filled with culture and a hometown for Confucian spirit. They had to rebuild their homes. Only the Confucian descendants should return here to build a home with Confucian features.
Different levels of government hope to improve the management of Kongdang DaAi village so it can become a high-profile and influential Confucius village in northern Jiangsu province.
In Indonesia, abandoned city volunteers have been caring for a boy who suffers from osteogenesis imperfecta. His family of 4 relies on his mother's meager income. Therefore, city volunteers provide him financial assistance, lessening the mother's burden. 13-year-old Fari looked physically smaller than children his age because he suffers from osteogenesis imperfecta. He seldom has contact with outsiders. The volunteers have invited Tzu Chings to come visit him.
There are many people around us who need our help. While our strength might seem small, as long as we are willing to give of ourselves, we can help other people.
Fari lives with his mother, grandmother, and younger brother. The family of 4 relies on the mother's meager income. Fortunately, city volunteers have provided financial assistance to lessen the mother's burden.
Fari's mother supports the family. She has to sell snacks at the mosque and restaurants every day. Working 2 jobs, she only earns enough to pay for her child's medical expenses. Therefore, Tzu Chi provides financial assistance. We provide living expenses.
We appreciate Tzu Chi volunteers who come visit us every month. The volunteers help us whenever we have needs. I hope in the future we will have abilities to do what you do.
The volunteers' companionship is the best support for Fari's family. They will continue to encourage and accompany this family. Students from the Taichung School for the Visually Impaired visited a humanitarian ecotech pavilion to learn about environmental protection. After they returned to their school, they applied the knowledge they learned.
Liao Delong cannot see, but she washes this drink container clean, folded, and throw it into a recycling box.
During the Mid-Autumn Festival, my family bought these drinks. My brother taught me how to fold the containers. He said this could save much space.
Even the visually impaired students are not sloppy when it comes to recycling.
We wash the cups, remove the thin film, and then recycle them.
To the left one is for garbage, to the right is for recyclables.
These students of the Taichung School for the Visually Impaired visited the Tzu Chi Ecotech Humanitarian Pavilion days ago. They then brought back what they learned to campus. They use Braille to read. They touch the flow of water to conserve water. Some students want to change their eating habits.
I'm thinking maybe I will not eat so much meat at breakfast so I can reduce my carbon footprint.
Everywhere on campus, we can see all kinds of work made by the students with the recyclables, which decorate their classrooms. They learned all this from the Ecotech Humanitarian Pavilion.
Normally, we put a lot of emphasis on environmental protection education, but after they returned from the Ecotech Humanitarian Pavilion, we've seen the children becoming more dependable when it comes to doing recycling. They're also more joyful in doing it.
When we see these visually impaired children dedicating themselves to recycling, shouldn't we also do more for the environment?
In the United States, volunteer Zhang Chunxiu was very depressed more than 10 years ago because his wife passed away. Fortunately, local city volunteers went to comfort him and his family. A year after his wife passed away, Zhang brought his 2 daughters to a free tax return filing service held by Tzu Chi. Seeing how he was feeling low, city volunteers suggested he attend city events with his daughters. Years later, this family has walked out of the shadow of grief.
It took Zhang Chunxiu years to change his attitude to walk out of the grievance of losing his wife.
When my wife had the accident over 10 years ago, it was Tzu Chi volunteers from Las Vegas arriving at the scene. I'm still in contact with them. When I have to file my tax return, I still come to Tzu Chi for help. The bond between me and Tzu Chi are still there, so I'm very grateful to them.
I've noticed that he has become more open in recent years. In the past, he would melancholy face and shed tears easily. It's because of our volunteers' company. His 2 children have joined our Tzu Chi children's class, so he has more interactions with Tzu Chi and he has become more open.
Zhang Chunxiu and his 2 daughters moved from Las Vegas to Southern California. What they have seen in Tzu Chi made them realize they do not need to dwell in their sadness.
So throughout the program, I've throughout a lot of volunteering and just being able to open my eyes to certain things around the community that needed help, and being able to see all these people that needed help. I see all these people who are struggling. I've been able to better realize just what's going on around the world and how we need to step up and just try to help people.
Recently, Sanchong City volunteers have invited Tzu Shaos and youth volunteers to clean up Jinsan Beach. Not only have they cleaned up the environment, they've also gained a precious lesson on environmental protection. We'll leave you with these images at the end of our program. Thank you for joining us. Goodbye.